A recent survey has found that while 30% of small businesses are already using artificial intelligence, 40% of small businesses just aren't interested in AI at all. So this gap in technological adoption shows that companies across Canada are still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't for their operations. So here with more on Small Business AI Insight is Joe Cote from Merchant Growth. Joe, good to talk to you this morning. I'm fascinated by AI right now because everyone's trying to adopt it, or perhaps some people aren't, but people are trying to wrap their head around it here. First of all, let's talk about that divide between some small businesses aggressively jumping in and some saying absolutely not. How does that strike you, the fact that there is such a I'm in or I'm out?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is such a phenomenal topic because we are inundated with the information that's coming through on AI at this point in time. Yeah. And the divide is maybe a little bit polarizing, but not necessarily that shocking when you come to think about it, because how many people are over inundated with what information they're getting, what channels are they trying to take this in? And then fast forward to, well, AI, technology, I don't know anything about that, so therefore I would never know how to use it, how to actually adopt it to my businesses. Yet at the same point in time, for those that are actually looking into it, it's actually not as complicated as some may think.
Yeah, I think for some people it can be overwhelming, and certainly of a certain generation, you kind of go, oh, technology, I'm a little nervous here. But Joe, I'm thinking, of a restaurant or a dry cleaner or like a retailer, the small business independently owned. How can they sort of take AI and work it to their advantage?
There's so many opportunities, and this is one of the kind of things that we focus on specifically at Merchant Growth, is supporting people with financing as well as growth solutions. But part of that is talking to different businesses in those categories that you're talking about. Your morning commute, stopping into the coffee shop, where all of a sudden now you're going to see that they have more of what you're looking for that breakfast pairing, right product, right time. And a lot of that is the AI that you don't even see that's happening behind the scenes. And it's using the data from your sales to figure out, how do I optimize my inventory, which in turn has cost management benefits. And think about your local fitness or gym that thinks all of these wonderful classes that we offer, what works? What do people like? What time of day do they like? What instructors do they like? And then using that information for targeted, personalized emails to be able to figure out, how do I get the maximized use of, leveraging AI behind the scenes of getting more people through the door.
So what you're kind of saying to me, Joe, is that the customer or the client may not necessarily recognize that AI has been part of this, but the businesses can use it to advance and enhance their business.
Absolutely. And it's happening in every kind of daily interactions that we don't even see. On the business side, there's a whole, slew, and this is where that overwhelming kind of sense comes in. But a big part to what we're suggesting to a lot of people is actually just focus on something small to start with. And it could be, depending on if you're a retail shop and you're trying to figure out, how do I better manage my inventory? And then how do I actually create placements to support a better experience for customers or create awareness? Not just all marketing content. It could be for their bookkeeping. It could be for, heaven forbid, managing your email inbox, which we know can be very daunting. And how do you actually leverage AI to be able to make, even if it's an hour of your day, disappear into 5 minutes?
Well, that's what I'm curious about, like the expense on this. You have to spend money to make money, but is AI a more affordable way of doing it because you can become more efficient? How would you sell that to somebody who's interested?
I would certainly say that to the people that are interested, and even those people who maybe are saying that they're not, and it could be because they're a little bit overwhelmed, is the costs are, quite honestly, fairly nominal. There's actually a lot of free applications that are out there. And what's really happening is AI is actually leveling the playing field for a lot of the businesses. And all they have to do is think about, what is a problem that you currently have or a pain point in your daily routines or your business. As a business owner, it could be just you. It doesn't have to be your actual business operations. And there are a significant amount of solutions. Do a little bit of research. That's the time and the investment, quite honestly, to find some of these free applications that can actually help you maximize your daily workflow.
All right, it's fascinating, and AI is really taking over everything. Joe Cote, appreciate the time this morning. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.